Welcome. So, for those of you who don't know, my name's Leena Parmar. I am the founder of Citrus Connect, and today we have the absolute honour and privilege to be with our operations director at Citrus Connect, Rumina Islam. So, welcome, Rumina.
Hi, everyone.
So the reason for the video today is pretty simple. You know, as a country, we're coming out of lockdown and we are allowed to go back to the office. But as we've been discussing our operations at Citrus Connect, you know, it came to our attention that there's one person in our business that's thrived working from home. And that one person is definitely not me. I am not a work from home person, but I've had to persevere. But Rumina has absolutely thrived working from home. So I just wanted to ask you a couple of questions today, Rumina, just to get a little bit of insight into why working from home has made you more productive. You know, why have you thrived in this environment, and what is it about working from home that's giving you that work-life balance so that you can be present in both your personal and your work life?
I think for me, the biggest thing for me is the work-life balance that it's given me, or the opportunity of creating a better work-life balance that it's offered me. You know, not saying that, you know, whilst I'm working, I'm having a tea party at home or anything like that. It's just being at home and taking out the commuting aspect, the 2 hours a day or 2.5 hours a day that I'm saving, not having to commute, is invested in being at home with my husband, you know, and just having the opportunity to have a better work-life balance is what's made me thrive. It's not been easy. I think it's taken a lot of discipline and a lot of adjusting to create the right work-life balance, but also the right momentum in myself to be able to thrive in my role in the business, but thrive and enjoy the new work-life balance I have as well. The biggest thing I think is discipline. To thrive in a working from home environment, you need the right discipline for it. And that discipline is, you know, setting out your day with what you set out to achieve, setting those daily goals, setting those daily targets. You know, even if it means a task list, and you've probably seen on my calendar task lists as long as my arm, but it's just, you know, set a goal to get everything done for that day. And if that means you're not getting it done until 7 in the evening, you're not getting it done until 7 in the evening, but it gets done. It's just having the discipline to be able to get everything done, really.
Yeah. What's really interesting, actually, and I want to explore this with you, because furlough's been so common within the UK since the pandemic started, and you have been on furlough, whether that's 100% furlough or coming back 20% of the time, 25% of the time, and I know we're kind of phasing you back into the business. How has that been, kind of being not working when you're on 100% furlough, or working half of the week when you're on 50% furlough? How have you adapted and still kept that focus? Because I can imagine for some people, it must be quite hard to have that chop and change where 1 minute you're working, then you have to get back into it because you are working, and then you're working half of the week, because businesses have had to change very quickly because of the unknown aspect of what's happening in the economy at the moment. So from your personal perspective, how have you adapted to working sometimes full-time, sometimes part-time, sometimes half-time? How is that, you know, how have you adapted and maintained that discipline even throughout furlough?
I think the key word you're using there is adapted. Like, it is being adaptable. You need to have a degree of flexibility and adaptability in this environment. Not working 100% of the time on furlough was a bit of a brain-numbing experience. So you know, to come back in even for 20% of the time, I thrived off of it, because I'm a busy bee. I enjoy having my mind kept busy. I don't like being idle. So, you know, going back 100% furlough is not ideal for me, but the chopping, changing, I suppose it's very much, the adaptability, but I come back to the discipline. If I've set myself these hours to work, then I step into the shoes out of the operations manager at Citrus Connect, or the account manager, or whatever task I have to fulfill in those hours. I fulfill it, I honor it, and I fulfill it. I step into it. And it's things like, my husband works as well, and he works full time. But if I'm choosing to do some hours, 5 to 7, for example, just to get on top of everything because I've chosen that, then it's just setting rules and disciplines within yourself and your home. Having an environment that's your space, your workspace, and somebody not distracting you in that space. Just setting boundaries in place and just being disciplined. It's, to me personally, it's not any different to waking up in the morning and going into work. I would, when I'm commuting to work, I'm commuting to work as Rumina, the ops manager at Citrus Connect. And once I'm in those doors, that's what I am. So when I am walking up the stairs or across the landing into my home office environment, that's who I am. And I'll honor that role whilst having to do that role. Coming out of that. And I think having a separate working space has helped.
Yeah, I was going to come on to that.
Sitting in the lounge whilst other people are doing stuff around you, and it doesn't, I'm not saying you can't, but it doesn't, for me, it doesn't put you in the right mindset. It doesn't get that momentum going. The distraction's far too bigger. So having that workspace certainly helps, but it's just knowing that once you've set your day out, you've set your discipline in as to what you're doing and when you're doing it, it's honoring the plan that you've put yourself in for. But just stepping into the shoes, what is so different to you actually going to work in an office to have to do this from here? When I'm sat at this desk here, I am, I'm working for Citrus Connect, I'm doing the role and I'm honoring that role. It's a mindset thing. Just because you're at home, it doesn't, for me, it's flipping that mindset. It's getting yourself geared up. You're going into work and you put your work mode on. You come out of this door, the door here in this room, you're leaving work and you can get your personal mode on. You don't, in your social life, you don't behave as you do in your professional life. And it's two separate boots we wear all the time. It's just wearing those separate shoes or boots in your home, but you create the boundaries in that.
Absolutely. So there's 3 main tips that you've come up with, really. So 1 is to get everything done that you need to get done in the day. 2 is discipline. And your kind of 3rd tip would be to have a work space, preferably a work room. Is there anything else that you would like to add in terms of, I think, top tips?
Yeah, saying it the way you've put it now, I think one more tip would be self-motivation. You need to know how to keep yourself engaged and how to keep yourself motivated. If you are the kind of person that's very reliant on energy from other people around you and people to give you a push and pick you up, then working from home, just as you found, hasn't been the best environment for yourself, and it probably won't be. But if you know how to kind of pick yourself up, you're not going to have a great day every day. And I've not had a great day every day, but where I can, I know when to kind of go, right, let's stop, let's take 5 minutes, let's figure this all out and let's get back on it. It's kind of giving yourself a little kick up the backside and not needing somebody else to do that for you. So an element of self-motivation is really key. What do you need to do to motivate yourself? What motivates you? And just utilizing that and knowing that as much as you have a manager, as much as you have team colleagues all in the virtual world with you, it's draining them as much as it is you to kind of want to get that motivation from them. So just figure out what is it that motivates you and use that to your advantage.
Absolutely. Amazing. I guess the other thing that fascinates me about your career journey with Citrus Connect is that during a pandemic, even during furlough, and during probably the most challenging yet probably the most successful years at Citrus Connect, that you have gained a promotion as the ops manager in January 2021. How have you made that happen during such a challenging time, not just in our country, but in the whole world?
It is simply just believing in myself and the company I'm with, like believing, just as long as I think if you're committed and you're committed to the values of your business and the business you're in, and that aligns with you, it doesn't, pandemic aside, I knew the business was going to succeed, and I knew my capabilities within it. And it's just, this is going to sound really silly, but you just do what you have to do. You do your job and you do it well, and you do it with sincerity. And just, if you get shaken with this pandemic going on, if you get shaken and you think, oh well, this is going to ruin, this is going to ruin everything, then it is going to ruin everything. You need to have faith and believe that the company you're with has your back, isn't going to do you do you injustice, and you want to return that and return that in a very sort of successful and honorable way. And it is simply that. It's just, for me, it had nothing to do with the pandemic. It had nothing to do with, I had my ambitions within, I've had my ambitions from the offset as soon as I came into the company. So I've had my ambitions, and that's what I was working towards. And I knew the company was going to get there. It's just I had to help and support the company get to where it needs to get to. And we are here today. And that's why I'm sat here January 2021 with a promotion, whereas, pandemics hit the world and a lot of businesses are suffering. But I think we're all a team floats the business. The business doesn't make it itself, and it's not going to make it itself unless it has the right infrastructure and team behind it. It's, as long as the team are all one and we're working towards the same set goals and values, it's going to get there.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, thank you so much for your time today, Rumina. I know you've got a really busy day, so I will let you go. So thank you so much for watching. We'll see you next time.